All right, I'd like to start off saying Barakatah Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushai, Ba'ashim Chakodash. Welcome to another live lesson. The name of this one is Another ODB Bites the Dust. ODB is just an acronym for Old Dirty Bastard. And pretty much we're talking about Jacob Rothschild. He had a longer name. I was just on my walk. On the way back, I was listening to the Elder Karatazar out of the Vegas camp. And another one, Lord Rothschild Dead, Next Step Hell. And pretty much I was watching this video, and it's currently still premiering. Then as soon as I set everything up to do a lesson on it, I saw Apostle Tahar, Elder Apostle Tahar. You know, he's doing his own Jacob Rothschild, Isaiah 87, the rich man and Lazarus. I didn't really get a chance to watch any of this. I did watch some of this video from the beginning. So I just want to, give my take on it, and pretty much it's taken from there. And I'm pretty sure that most of the scriptures that I'll bring out, the elder apostle and the elder here will bring out also, along with other scriptures. Because this is beautiful that this devil just dropped dead, because what this shows too is like now we've been dealing with this hell doctrine which reared its ugly head up, so we're dealing with that. So this is perfect because this ties in right to the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, which is beautiful because it gives us an opportunity to edify, to show you that bottom line, there is no such thing as a place where you go to hell. All right. And with these few precepts that brother's been bringing out, or plethora of precepts that brother's been bringing out, and the origins of the word hell, so on and so forth, when you go to the actual origins of the words, you should be able to, see and understand, where this whole hell thing is coming from, and that it's not a real place you go to. Hell just simply means the grave. When you go to the Hebrew, when you go to the Greek, it means the same thing. If you can't get it, then it's not meant for you. I don't know what to tell you. So I'm just gonna read through this parable here of the rich man and Lazarus, and there's some points here that I want to make, as we go through, and then other precepts to give you a better understanding on other points. And within this parable and some of these other precepts, it cements it that there's no such thing as hell. It's talking about a future judgment that you're going to be subjected to because of all of the wicked shit that you did in this lifetime and others. So let's get to it. Luke 16:19. There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and you can see these devils, they be dressing to a T. They don't go to Walmart to shop, okay? They don't go to Target. They don't go to any of these rinky-dink places. They have actual tailors that make their clothing, all right? They don't go to these you're never going to see a Rothschild standing in line at Walmart, talking about, I'm trying to get these boxes. I'm trying to get, some socks. I'm trying to get these shoes. These shoes right here. These are fire, man. They're on sale for $50. You ain't never going to see that shit. One of their shoes probably costs $3,000 or more. Just one shoe. It says, and fared sumptuously every day. And these devils they're living it up. They fared sumptuously every day. Let's look up this word fared to see what that says. Fared. The word there's eufranio. EU is good. Fraino. Which comes from freno, understanding, good understanding. To gladden, make joyful, right? Because their state of mind is joyful. You could tell, how a person's living by the countenance of their face. When you go out here into the hood, you see the countenance of Jake and these people that live here. They don't have a rejoicing countenance like they're doing super good. But when you go to these rich neighborhoods, you see the countenance on these devils' faces, and some that are well-to-do, and you can see that they're living it up, that they're living a good life. And when the picture that I put for the still on the thumbnail You could see that devil. That devil. They was living good. You hear me? They were living good. To be glad, be merry, to rejoice in, be delighted with a thing. So just remember that this part of the parable, the rich man, which represents Esau and all his descendants, they were living it up, living good. The ones that ain't living it up, you need to write a letter to the Rothschilds and other international banking families, and tell them they got to cut you in. Unless you happen to be an Israelite foreigner that looks like you do, and just happen to be catching hell because you're an Israelite. All right, so moving on to the next verse. But you know what? Let me look up the word sumptuously. Fair is to live merry, because euphrino, I believe the word was. That means good understanding, meaning your mind is clear. You're living good. And lampros, they were cold lamping. See, they cold lamping. See, that's why Flavor wrote that song. Nah, just joking. Cold lamping. It says splendidly, magnificently, of sumptuous living, because the scripture in the book of Psalms, right? Let's go there real quick. Psalms 73. This is one of them key, basic building block scriptures that cement these devils. Psalm 73, I just want to go straight to the point. I'm going to read the third verse. For I was envious at the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked. And this is that same doctrine that these false prophets in the churches are pushing, that prosperity doctrine. Hey, even the Bishop Nathaniel's pushing that. Look at them the bum camps. Shall we join the bum camp? Bumalites. Because they're always pushing a prosperity garment. If you're not clean and looking spiffy, lined up like Zorro took his blade and sliced up, your mustache and your beard and all that, and your hair, then you ain't living. You're a bum. I just want to go straight to the point. Verse 5, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. Yeah, because other men are what? Like the Israelites, are subject to payments. Therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain. And when you look at these devils, they look super proud. Violence covereth them as a garment, because that's how they get their wealth, through violence. Their eyes stand out with fatness. This is the point. They have more than heart could wish. You see? So they have more than heart can wish. And that's why they fared sumptuously every day. They lampros, right? It says splendidly, magnificently, of sumptuous living, brilliantly. And I believe this word lampros goes back to Revelation 18 also, where it says, it speaks about the dainties and it speaks about something else. And I believe the word there is lampros, if I'm not mistaken, for sumptuous living, pretty much. So going back, right? So let's read that again and then go to the next verse. There was a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus which laid at his gate full of sores. And what are the sores? Who is Lazarus? Lazarus, first and foremost, that's Israel. That represents the Israelites, right? And what was he doing? He was laying at the gate of the rich man, and he was what? He was full of sores. Lazarus. Whom the Most High helped, right? I would have to Eleazar. How did it go? Allah Izar. The Most High helped. Allah Izar, Eleazar. So that's the point that we wanted to get. A very poor and wretched person to whom Yahweh shall refer to in Luke 16:20-25, which is pretty much as a representation of the nation of Israel. Just like Job was an actual person, but the book of Job is pretty much a blueprint for the nation of Israel. Even though it was dealing with one particular man, it also pertains to the rest of the Israelites. All right, now, which was laid at his gates full of sores. Right now, let's deal with this word sores. Now, the word sores in the Greek is different from the one in the Hebrew, but I'm just going here just to prove a point of who this is speaking about, okay? Because not just because something says, just because you have an English word in the Old Testament and an English word in the New Testament doesn't always mean that they mean the same thing. But I'm going to bring this out. This is Isaiah 1:5. This is dealing with the nation of Israel. Why should you be stricken anymore? You will revolt more and more. The whole head is sick and the whole heart faint. From the sole of the foot even to the head, there is no soundness in it, but wounds and bruises and putrefying sores. They have not been closed, neither bound up, neither mollified with ointment. Yeah, because his curses are still real. The curses are still on Jake. And there's no way to escape them, because it said that wherever you go, they're going to be on you. Pretty much like white on rice. So what I want to get is the word sores. But before I get the word sores, let's get the word putrefying. Tarya. Fresh, new, right. In other words, they keep bursting. You know, like when you have a sore, it gets putrid. So sores is the word makah. And the word sores, blow, wound, slaughter, blow, strike, beating, scourging, wound, slaughter, defeat, conquest. So we've been conquered. We've been plagued. So it can represent an actual plague, or it can represent defeat, conquest, the curses. Okay? So you can understand. So it can be used either way. In this case, with Israel, is being used metaphorically. In the case with Lazarus, it's being used metaphorically. Because when you go to this word sores, it's el-ka'al, goes back to elkos, means to make sore, cause to ulcerate, to be ulcerated, full of sores. Now, in that case, that's dealing with the actual sore, like those that take the MOTB. But in the sense of here, with this parable, knowing that it's symbolic, it represents the low condition that Lazarus was subjected to. You got to understand that this is a parable. It's not an actual, these are not two actual people. They are a representation of the nation of Esau and the nation of Israel. All right? And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores, and desiring to be fed with the crumbs which fell from the rich man's table. Moreover, the dogs, which the dogs here represent who? The other nations, came and licked the sores. So what does that mean, that the dogs came and licked the sores? Meaning that they were subjected, because remember, we're subject to payments. So who comes into our neighborhood, right, and sells us their goods, their food, and things of that nature, and become rich off of the little bit of crumbs that Jake has? You got it. The other nations, because they're the ones that are given the money to establish these different, death shacks, which you call food shacks. Chicken shack. The chicken shack and the Arab fried chicken, Kennedy fried chicken, and all that other Church's fried chicken. The bigger the chain, the worse the food. All right. And then when you go to the different neighborhoods around the world, around the world, but mainly here in America, you go to the hoods in New York, Connecticut, Massachusetts, and other places all across America. You have what? Arabs, Ishmaelites, selling you this fried chicken that they're cooking in this demonic, nasty oil, right? And it's not the chicken that's killing you, right? Unless it's GMO chicken. It's the oil that they're cooking with, the flour that they're putting on it, because that oil that they're cooking with is death. That shit clouds you up, and that's what's really killing you. So you go to the different stores. You go to the different gas stations, mostly owned by Ishmaelites and Elamites. You want to get some food, right? And you go to a lot of Jake, they like to go to Moab, eat that so-called Chinese food, chicken wings and fried rice, which mostly they eat that pork fried rice or shrimp fried rice. That's Moab that owns that, Now, if you have a little bit more culture, or a lot more culture, you might go to a so-called Japanese restaurant, Ammonite restaurant, but that's still owned by the Ammonites. See what I'm saying? Then if you know if you want to if you're a cultured person, a well cultured person, you may want to go to Elam, you know, to eat, which those are the so-called East Indians that have these so-called East Indian restaurants, so on and so forth. So these nations and those restaurants are not normally in Jake's neighborhoods, but the ones that are death shacks are, like the Arab fried chicken and all that other stuff. You know, the Chinese food, you know, Moabite food. So these nations, they come into Jake's neighborhood, but they don't live there. They come in, make their money, and bounce. They show you that in that movie, Do the Right Thing. You know, when you had those Italians, which the Italians are Jakes, some of them, not all of them, you know, but they'll come in the neighborhood, they'll sell you that pizza and that spaghetti, lasagna, linguine, and all that other fusilli and all that bullshit that'll clog you up and kill you, and then they'll leave and go back to their neighborhood, you know, wherever it is that they live. They don't live around you for the most part. Because we did have back in the days when I, you know, back in the 70s, you know, when I was living in New York, you did have some Italians in the neighborhood that I used to personally hang with, you know, so I know that they're Jakes. You know, one time I had a slice of pizza that, you know, my parents got for me, and you know, you go outside, you know, a whole bunch of, yo, let me get a bite, let me get a piece, you know, and you're want to share, so I shared with them. And the one Italian dude, right, he took a bite out the thing, and then from the back, he pulled some of the back of the pizza out. I said, man, you motherfucker, you know, a real ninja. So you can't tell me that's not a ninja. You know, like the whole time, you know, I'm thinking he's just going to take a bite, you know, which, you know, I was, you know, kind of bugged out back then. But, you know, really, I shouldn't have even let them, you know, I should have pulled a piece off of them. I was kind of bugged out. But anyway, you know how it goes. But just the point that you did have certain Italians that were in the neighborhoods that were Jakes. All right? But for the most part, you know, when you go to these different Italian joints, a lot of them are Edomites. So the point here is that when you go to any of these different stores in your hood, they're owned by the other nation, so they get rich off of you, while Jake stays poor. It says, and it came to pass that the beggar died and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died and was buried. Okay? So now what happened? Both of their bodies were buried, and both of their spirits did what? Transition from the flesh on earth up into the spirit world. Let's see. Let's go to Ecclesiastes chapter 12 and verse 7. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto the Most High who gave it. Why? Because the Most High is the Father of spirits. Okay? He is the Father of spirits. You know, you can go to Hebrews chapter 12. It tells you that the Lord is the Father of spirits. And I did a lesson one time, you know, years ago, where I had, you know, I went through the Red Bible, got some precepts on that particular verse, and man, that was a beautiful lesson. There was a lot of edification that came from that, because there's a lot of scriptures in the Old Testament too that pretty much build on the Most High being the Father of spirits. All right, so to the dust, that's what the Lord told Adam. From dust thou camest, and to dust shalt thou return. And this happens to all men and women and children. Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return to the Most High who gave it. So when we go back to the parable, they both went to the same place. Now let's prove that. All right. Let me see. Let me type this in so I can find it. Excuse me. I know it's in the book of Ecclesiastes, but I don't know exactly where. Ecclesiastes 6:6. Yea, though they live 1,000 years twice told, yet had they seen no good. Do not all go to one place? Right. What is this one place they all go to? The grave. The grave. The spirit is pure energy, pure fire, who maketh his angels, his ministers a flame of fire. So everyone's spirit is fire. This is why when everybody that dies, what happens? Rigor mortis sets in. Why? Because the body freezes, it coagulates, it freezes. Because the spirit is not there anymore. So how are you going to take fire and put it into fire to punish it? You see? Doesn't make any sense. But let's go to this scripture here. Let's just see if there's any more we can glean off of this. Right. Verse 3. If a man beget 100 children and live many years, so that the days of his years be many, and his soul be not filled with good, and also that he have no burial, I say that an untimely birth is better than he. For he cometh in with vanity, and departeth in darkness, and his name shall be covered with darkness. Moreover, he hath not seen the sun, nor known anything. This hath more rest than the other. Yea, though he live 1,000 years, twice told, yet hath he seen no good. Do not all go to one place? All the labor of man is for his mouth, and yet the appetite is not filled. There's another one too. Let me try Ecclesiastes 3. Let me try Ecclesiastes 3. This is really the one that I really wanted. So let's start at 18. Ecclesiastes 3:18. I said in mine heart concerning the estate of the sons of men, that the Most High might manifest them, and that they might see that they themselves are beasts. This is dealing with the other nations. For that which befalleth the sons of men befalleth beasts. Even one thing befalleth them, as the one dieth, so dieth the other. So it's dealing with death. Yea, they have all one breath, so that a man have no preeminence above a beast, for all is vanity. All go unto one place. What is that? They all die. Their flesh rots. Like it happens to the beast, it happens to man. All go into one place, all are of the dust, and all turn to dust again. Right? Then it says, who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth where? Upward. Did it say the righteous man? No, it just said man in general. Who knoweth the spirit of man that goeth upward? We just read that in Ecclesiastes 12:7. That's a link up. So the spirit of man goeth upward, and the spirit of the beast that goeth downward to the earth. So why does the spirit of man go up and the spirit of the beast stay on the earth? Very easy. Because the beasts are in order. They don't have to go before the throne of the Most High to be judged. But man does. All right? So that's pretty much the point on that. So let's go back to here. They all go into one place. So they were both buried. Well, one went to Abraham's bosom. Pretty much they were both buried, and their spirit went up to the Father. We just proved that. Remember, this is a parable. And in hell, meaning in this hellish condition the rich man is going to be subjected to, he, meaning the rich man, lift up his eyes, being in torment. Now, why was he in torments? Because he was catching hell. He was being beat. He was made to work. He was starving to death, he was catching hell. His living conditions were not good. He went from having everything in the lap of luxury to having nothing in the lap of shit. He went from a splendid situation to a dilapidated one. Okay? It says, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. Because Lazarus, which represents the Israelites, is going to be doing good in the kingdom. Let the saints be joyful in glory. But the rich man and his descendants, which are the Edomites, are going to be catching hell. They're going to be tormented, in the flesh, on the earth, through toil, through labor, through getting beat down. Yep, the movie Trading Places. That's right. The brother, the elder Hawad from North Carolina, put in Trading Places, and that's an excellent movie. Those of you that have not seen the movie Trading Places, that goes back to the '80s. It was produced by Aaron Russo, of all people. It starred Eddie Murphy and Dan Aykroyd. A very, very spiritual movie. You know, of how things are gonna switch. Matter of fact, since you mentioned that, bro, let's go to Lamentation 1. This is one of my favorite precepts. Lamentation 1 and 21. They have heard that I sighed. There is none to comfort me. That's dealing with Esau and the nations. All mine enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. So this is what? This isn't in hell, but this is that condition. Because this is the condition that Esau and the other nations are going to turn to. The water for putting that movie on there, bro. Because I brought this to mind through the Spirit. So this is Jeremiah speaking about the condition of Israel. They were in trouble, just like the rich man was what? Was in torment. You know, you don't know the amount of times that you hear, brother, you know, the torment that comes out of brothers' mouths. You know, we might be sitting down talking about certain things or chilling, whatever, and all of a sudden you hear the brother say, damn, man, I got to get ready to go because I got to get up tomorrow morning to go fucking to this job. Hate this fuck, you know? That's torment. Subject to payments, torment. Having to get up every day going to work, torment. So this is what Esau is going to experience. The troubles in the flesh that we are experiencing now. When you go to Deuteronomy 30 and 7, matter of fact, let's get that. And now come back to this. Because we haven't made the point yet. But the Spirit is moving, baby. Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 7. And Yahweh, thy power, will put all these curses upon thine enemies. And guess what? They're going to drink it down every day, huh? Except for the Sabbath. But on the Sabbath, they're going to be tormented. Because they're going to be licking their wounds and thinking about, you know, the very next day, once the sun goes down on the Sabbath, and we're out of the Sabbath, that's when they're going to get busted up. And on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. So all of these curses are going to come upon them. They're going to plague them. And the crazy thing about it is still being in this condition, this low condition, being jacked up, being financially, you know, strapped. I mean, car breaking down, women leaving you, children being taken away from you, subject to payments, and just all kind of shit going on. Jake still has to be able to have the frame of mind to function and still go to fucking work. So you think we're going to let up on these devils? Hell no. They're going to gulp it every day, you know. Except for the Sabbath, but on the Sabbath they're going to be in torment in their mind. Obadiah 1:15. I'll jump to the point. And 16. For as you have drunk upon my holy mountain, you nations, so shall all the heathen drink continually. All, A-L-L. So shall all the heathen drink continually. Yea, they shall drink and they shall swallow down. Oh no, oh Lord, have you ever been swallowed? They shall. There, he done fucked this word up, man. They shall swallow, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. Because when you're in captivity, you have no rights. You have no face. You have nothing. You know, you have nothing. You are a nobody. Just look at the condition of Jake. You know, that was over here in this side of the world, from Canada all the way down to South America, everything in between. From ruling among ourselves to being subjected to this devil, to being nothing, to even so much as the tribe of Judah being labeled 3/5 of a man. Now you tell me that's not fucking low. So that's what you're going to be. You're going to be as though you have not been. Right? But upon Mount Zion shall be deliverance, and there shall be holiness, and the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. I don't know what Bible these devils are reading. Anyways, let's move on back to Lamentation. 1 and 21. They have heard that I sighed, there is none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble, my toil, my torment. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou will bring the day that thou hast called, because this day is coming. The day that the Lord has called, when these devils are going to have to pay. And they shall be like unto me, trading places. So here, we're reading in the parable of Lazarus and the rich man, the transition of power. Remember, power is never lost. Wealth is never lost. Lands are never lost. Riches are never lost, which is the same as wealth. They're transferred, because riches never lose value. True riches never lose value. And the devil, the Rothschilds, understood that concept. That's why they've set up their central banks in America, and then took the gold, took everything that was worth something, took out of circulation any paper dollar that had any semblance of wealth, the silver certificates, gold certificates, and gave you just straight up paper dollars backed by nothing. You know? And what happens with that is that you're able to, you can control the value of that item, which goes up and down. Somebody asked, I think it was Paul Wahlberg, if I'm not mistaken, what is the stock market going to do? Or what is the stock market going to do today? Lucius Mullins tell the story, right? When he was alive. He said, oh, it will fluctuate. Because it's like a lever. If you feel like bringing it down, you bring it down. If you feel like bringing it up, you bring it up. And meanwhile, the rich are getting richer and the poor are getting poorer. It's just a vicious cycle. So this is going to be the exchange. That's why it says, let the saints, matter of fact, let's get that. Psalms 149th chapter, in the 5th verse. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Who are the saints? The Israelites. What does the word saints mean? The holy ones. Let the saints be joyful in glory. What is the glory? The kingdom of heaven. The saints, the Israelites, will be the only ones that will glory in the kingdom of heaven. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Why? Because when they get up, when we all get up in the morning, right? You ain't going to have that thought like, oh, fuck, man, I'm late for work, or I got to get up to go slave for this devil. I'm tired of shit. You know? And many other things. Oh, I got to pay this goddamn bill. I don't know how the hell I'm going to do that. Then I got to set money aside to get some groceries, and I still got to put some goddamn gas in the car. Shit, man, the goddamn shit. You know? That ain't going to be... Now, Esau and them, on the other hand, and the other nations, they're going to have that switched over to them. That's a goddamn torment. Day after day after day after day. And then you working full-time job. And then hustling on Lyft or on, you know, Uber Eats or whatever the case may be. For a couple of extra dollars, possibly for gas. So it says, let the high praises of the Most High be in their mouth, which are the scriptures, and a two-edged sword in their hand, which is an actual two-edged sword. For what? For vengeance, for punishment, for judgment. To execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishment upon the people. What scriptures are these wacky-tacky Christians reading? All right? This is torment, trouble, toil, desperation of the mind, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, beginning from the top down. You're going to have, you know, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, the Merovingians, you know, all of these different top banking families. You know, the ones from among Esau, the ones from among Ham, the ones from among Elam, the ones from among Ishmael, the ones from among all nations, Moab, Ammon, so on and so forth. Beginning from the top, they're all going to be put in chains and fetters of iron. And guess what? You're going to have baby fetters, you know, for their children. So can you see that? Now, when you go back to slavery, when you go back to when the conquistadors came here and they had our people in captivity, you have to also think about the torment that they suffered. If their wife was going to get raped, if their children was going to get dashed against a stone, that's a fucking torment. On top of when these devils came here, they were so fucking greedy for silver and gold that they would make our forefathers hollow out caves without no rest till they dropped dead, just to get the gold and the silver out the mines, which wasn't a whole lot. That's why when Jake, back then would capture these devils, one time they captured the motherfucker, they held him down, the Spaniard, this devil, then they heated up the gold and got it real nice and hot and melty and made him drink it. So that was a fucking torment. Being here in America, the Southern Kingdom, and not knowing if the master was going to rape your wife, which is a part of the curses. Not knowing if your family was going to be split up that day. He was going to sell one child to one plantation owner, another child to another plantation owner, the husband or the wife to another one. That's a fucking torment. On top of not being able to stand up for yourself because somebody's talking to you like you're a fucking little kid. And then not only are they getting free labor, but they're beating your ass if you don't meet the quota for the day. These are all torments that they're going to be subject to. You see? Let's go. Where were we? To execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all the saints, praise ye the Lord. So when we go back here to Luke 16:23, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom. So let's deal with James 5 now. James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your what? Miseries that shall come upon you. These are the torments. Let's look up a couple of these words. Let's look up the word weep, which is klaio or klaio. To mourn, weep, lament, weeping as a sign of pain and grief for things signify. An example, the pain and grief of those who mourn for the dead, to weep for, mourn for, bewail one. When you bewailing, man, you are howling. You are in extreme pain from getting your ass kicked. Bewail. Express great regret, disappointment, or bitterness over something. Yeah, of getting your ass whooped. Now, let's go to, let's see, what else did we have here? So let's go back. It says, weep and howl. Oloadzo. To howl, wail, lament, of a loud cry, whether for joy or grief. So in hell, in this condition, in the kingdom of heaven, when they find themselves in slavery, being in torment, and seeing the Israelites chilling, the same ones they had in captivity, beating them down, stealing all their goods, making them work from can't see in the morning to can't see at night, killing them, destroying them, raping their women, their children, freaking off on the men, buck breaking the men because they can't stand for you. They know that you're a punk and a wimp, but they can't do nothing about it because you gang up on the man, beat him down, tie him down, and then pop him in his ass. You're gonna pay for all that shit. Now we're not gonna do that, but we're gonna find other ways to torture your ass. Remember, the scriptures say that heart shall meditate terror, because that's straight up foul. And that's straight up foul to rape another man's woman. So we're not going to be doing shit like that. But you better believe that the Lord is going to give us other alternatives to get your bitch ass, E. Weep and howl for your miseries. Let's look up the word miseries. Talahi poria. Hardship, trouble, calamity, misery, hardship. That's what the torments that they're going to suffer. So it says, let's read that again. I like the way that rolls. It says, go to now, you rich men, you Edomites. Weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. All right, so going back here, Luke 16:23, and in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torments, and seeth Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, he was howling, have mercy on me. And this is the key here, have mercy on me, because he was getting his ass whooped. And send Lazarus, send the Israelites, that he may dip the tip of his finger in the water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame, meaning this hell that I'm catching. Remember, how is the men of the Lord purified? By the oven of affliction, or the fire of affliction. I forget exactly how it's worded. So they're going to be in such a hellish condition of being overwhelmed with grief because of captivity, because of having nothing, that they're going to want the Israelites to have mercy on them. Now, what do the scriptures say about that? Let's go real quick to the book of James, chapter 2, verse 13. For he shall have judgment without mercy that have showed no mercy. They didn't show any mercy. Remember, since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue you. And mercy rejoices against judgment. So going back here, he's saying, send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in the water and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. This is metaphoric. For tell him to have mercy on me. One scripture we could go to is the book of 2 Chronicles 10:4. Thy father made our yoke grievous. This is Israel, the northern kingdom, complaining to Rehoboam about how much they had to pay, and how they were being oppressed because of the taxation, or however it was going on back then. So they were asking them to have mercy on them. Now therefore ease thou somewhat the grievous servitude of thy father. You see? And his heavy yoke that he put upon us, and we will serve thee. And this is what the rich man, which is the Edomites, or are the Edomites, is asking Abraham to have the Israelites have mercy on him. And he said unto them, come again unto me after 3 days, and the people departed. And King Rehoboam took counsel with the old men that had stood before Solomon his father while he yet lived, saying, what counsel give ye me to return answer to this people? And they spake unto him, saying, if thou be kind to this people, and please them, and speak good words to them, they will be thy servants forever. But he forsook the counsel which the old men gave him, and took counsel with the young men that were brought up with him, that stood before him. And he said unto them, what advice give you that we may return answer to this people, which have spoken to me, saying, ease somewhat the yoke that thy father did upon us? And the young men that were brought up with him spake unto him, saying, thus shalt thou answer the people that spake unto thee, saying, thy father made our yoke heavy, but make thou it somewhat lighter for us, have mercy on us. Thus shalt thou say unto them, my little finger shall be thicker than my father's loins. All right? For as my father put a heavy yoke upon you, I will put more to your yoke. My father chastised you with whips, but I will chastise you with scorpions. So the point here is, this is a metaphor. He's saying, I'm going to be harder on you with my little finger than my father, than shall be thicker than my father's loins. All right? So he's pretty much saying, I'm going to be harder on you with my pinky than my father was with his loins on the women. So you could understand, right? So that's what we're reading here. So the rich man said, send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, that he may have mercy on me and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. But Abraham said, son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things. Remember, they're not in trouble as other men. And likewise Lazarus evil things. But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. This is not talking about going to some place where you burn forever. All right? Now, when we go to All right, somebody must have been talking shit. When we go to the book of Job 3, right? This is another good one. 3 and 11. Why died I not from the womb? Why did I not give up the spirit when I came out of the belly? Why? Because he was catching hell. Man that is born to woman is a few days in a great trouble or something like that. Why did the knees prevent me, or why the breast that I should suck? For now should I have lain still and been quiet, I should have slept, then had I been at rest. Because when you die, your spirit is no longer subjected to those chains of darkness, which are these bodies. Is not subjected to the pains and the lusts of the flesh. You see, you're freed from that body, so you're at rest with kings and counselors of the earth, which built desolate places for themselves, because everyone goes to the same place. When you die, everybody's body goes to the earth, and everybody's spirit goes up to the heavens. Or with that, or with the princes that had gold, who filled their houses with silver, just like the ones in, the pharaohs in Egypt and the royalty of Egypt that would bury their riches and their servants with them. Or as in hidden untimely birth I had not been, as infants which never saw light. There, meaning where? In the grave. The wicked cease from troubling. They don't trouble anybody, neither are they troubled. And there the weary be at rest. And that's the point. There the prisoners rest together. They hear not the voice of the oppressor. So the oppressor, the wicked, the ones that are being oppressed, so on and so forth, all are at rest in this place. The small and great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Wherefore is light given to him that is in what? Misery and torment and trouble, and life unto the bitter in soul, which long for death, but it cometh not, and dig for it more than for his treasure. Why? Because they want to be out of that condition. This is why you have a lot of people that commit suicide, because they're tired of catching hell. They're tired of the spirits that's fucking with them, to keep them in that bitter state, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Why? Because then they can be at peace. See? Then they can be at peace. That's why they want to go to the grave. Let me see. There's one. Let me see if it comes up this way. I'm not sure if this is going to come up, but just bear with me 1 second. It's in the Apocrypha, but I can't think of how it's worded. Yeah, this is good. Sirach or Ecclesiasticus 30 and 17. Death is better than a bitter life or a continual sickness. Let's see. Alright, nah, I thought it was something else, but that was a good one. Sirach 30 and 17. Alright, so let's go back to Job. So, which rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they can find the grave. Alright, so that's what it's talking about. You don't go to no place called hell. The spirit goes back to the Father, the flesh goes back to the earth. Bottom line, the judgment is here on the earth. Matter of fact, let's get that one. That's Ecclesiastes 3. And I believe that's 16. Yep. Ecclesiastes 3:16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment. What's under the sun? The earth. This is the place of judgment. This is where you serve out your sentence. That wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there. See? So the earth, this is where the judgment takes place. Because all go to one place. Their flesh goes to the earth, their spirit goes up to the heavens. So going back to Luke 16:26, and beside all this, between us and you, matter of fact, let me read 25 again. But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things, but now he is comforted, and thou art tormented. Meaning you're going to catch hell. You're going to receive the punishment of captivity, slavery. And beside all this, between us and you, there is a great gulf fixed. Yeah, because you are not part of the seed of the promise. Don't forget the contract, big boy. You're not a part of the seed of the promise. You're the seed of the cursed. So that they which would pass from hence to you cannot. Yeah, then them sambos. Well, if the white man can't go, I ain't gonna go. But guess what? The Esau ain't gonna go, but you're gonna be there. Neither can they pass to us that would come from thence. That's right. Why? Because the Lord said it that way. There's a reason why there's a seed of the promise. That's the cutoff. Good. Then he said, I pray thee therefore, Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. So now, when all them dirty bastards went to the spirit world, Henry Kissinger, David Rockefeller, the prince, whatever the hell his name was, the queen, right now, Lord Jacob Rothschild, well, he ain't no Lord, Jacob Rothschild, right? They're up there saying, send somebody back, to my father's house. For I have 5 brethren that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment, right? If they amend their ways, they won't go into captivity or slavery. Abraham says unto them, they have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. Because you have the laws here, and you have the Bible, and you have the actual prophets teaching. And he said, nay, Father Abraham, but if one went unto them from the dead, they will repent. And he said unto him, if they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rose from the dead. That's right. Because these devils are so proud that the pride of their heart has deceived them. So even if this devil was to come back, right, they would still not believe. They won't accept it. They're like, nah, you tripping, man. Yo, come on, man. What's wrong with you? You getting soft or what? These people are our food, man. So this whole hell thing is BS. All right, hell is a grave. Look up the words in the Hebrew and in the Greek. So like I said, the elder Karatazar, did his lesson, and I was listening to it on my way back on my walk, and then as soon as I got here and started setting up, Elder Pastor, jumped on it. Jacob Rothschild dies at 87. The rich man Lazarus, which Lord's will, once I turn this machine off and turn off the live lesson, then I can go, and watch that. So with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. The water to you brothers, man, for putting all those comments and scriptures. Salaki, I didn't get to all of them. I mean, I only got to a couple of them, but you know how it goes. But with that, I pray that you brothers and few sisters have been edified. To the next time I say shalom. Stay strong.